The only difference between a rut and a grave are the dimensions. Ellen Glasgow. I think falling into a rut is something everyone can sympathise with. It's this weird moment of time where you only seem to be able to focus on the negative things around you. You feel as though you're just going through the motions of life rather than actually living it. A rut can be really damaging at times. You have no motivation to do, well, anything. All the stuff you used to do, whether it be exercise, your work, even cleaning, they just get put to the wayside. You can end up feeling like a spectator in your own life. Now, before looking at things we can do to get out of it, I think it's important that we establish the reason we got here in the first place, so that in future we can avoid it or at least catch it early. And though there are many reasons why, the most common denominator seems to be fear. A fear of failure. When we experience fear, it usually comes along with a little something called fight or flight. This is a survival mechanism that has been built into us, and back when we were being attacked by predators, this was something very useful. There is a third F. Fight, flight, or freeze. You've heard the expression a deer in headlights. Well, that's the freeze mechanic. Here, when a dangerous predator approaches, the natural reaction here is to freeze up and hope that it doesn't see you or sense you and it walks past and lets you go. The problem is now we're not fearing predators. We're fearing whatever it is we're trying to do or whatever we want to achieve. And now we're not freezing as in standing still, we're freezing in our lives. We're doing nothing. We're in a state of inaction. So whether it be fear of a new work project or fear of going back to the gym for the first time in a few years, fear can be a very debilitating emotion. To move forward, we must recognize that it is fear that is holding us back. It could be a fear of being judged or hurt. Maybe it's a fear of loss or disappointment. Once you identify it, you can actively work to prevent it. When it comes to pulling ourselves out of a rut, it basically means that we need to pull ourselves out of inaction. We need to get moving again. There are plenty of things you can look at to stop this happening. Most of it, as most things are, involves looking inward at yourself, being honest with yourself about what you want to achieve and what it is that's holding you back from doing so. I'm not going to get into all of that today, maybe in a future video. For today, I want to give you some real practical advice about how you can quickly pull yourself out of a rut. Remember, a rut means that we are in inaction. We are frozen. So the first thing we need to do, we need to get up and move. Start with yourself and let's work our way out from there. Go have a shower, sort out your ridiculous hair, put on an outfit that makes you feel good about yourself. Now go eat something. No, something real. Go make yourself a quick healthy meal and drink a large glass of water while you're there. Ready to get to work yet? No? That's fine. Go do some cleaning. Go clean your house, go clean your bedroom, go clean the kitchen, go sort out your workspace, get to your desk and get everything organized. Go through the drawers, throw out some stuff that you don't need. Get everything where it should be. Now I know what you're thinking, a lot of this might sound like it's procrastination. You're putting off the important things and you're focusing on all these little tasks. But when you're stuck in a rut like this, it's important to have some compassion for yourself. There's something wrong, which is the reason that you're not doing anything. It's like if I asked you to finish a marathon with a broken leg. We have to get that sorted before you can finish the race. So now we are clean, our house is clean. It's time to clean our minds. It's time to declutter. Pen and paper is best for this. Computers and phones carry too many distractions. I want you to sit down, I want you to open to a fresh page, and I want you to just write down everything that comes to your mind. Don't worry about how long it takes, how many pages it is. Just keep writing until you have nothing left to say. And if nothing comes out initially, just start writing down about your frustration. Start writing down how you feel right now, that you're irritated, that you're in a rut, that you're frozen. Eventually, you'll find that you open up. Think of this mind dump as clearing everything out through your mind's inbox. You're taking everything out and putting it on a page so that your brain can then reprocess it, recategorize everything, and then we can get focused on what really matters. So finally, take a real step back and ask yourself some basic questions about what you want from life. What do you want from your work? What do you want from your relationships, from your friends? What makes you happy? And once you have these big questions answered, you can work your way backwards. Then you can start putting together a plan of how you can get there. How can you make that work project happen? How can you make that relationship work? Whatever it might be. Now, I said I wouldn't go into all the other factors that affect you getting into a rut, but if you made it this far in the video, let me give you one thing to take away and think about. Be aware of your personal limiting beliefs. These are the glass ceilings that we set up for ourselves in our mind. They normally start with something like, I could never, or I would never, or I never will. The word never comes around a lot with these. Let me give you a quick example. I could never start my own business because I don't have the time. The problem with saying something like this to yourself is it's very definitive. Notice it's got very strong words. I could never, because I don't have the time. Our minds are super-powered problem-solving computers. You provide it with a problem and your mind will start trying to find a solution. The problem with a sentence like that is that it gives the solution. The problem is, I can't start my own business. The solution is because I don't have enough time. That doesn't sound right, does it? But that's what you're doing. You're telling your mind that it can't do this and this is why. So your mind's not going to waste any more time or energy trying to figure out how you could do it. You've created a limiting belief for yourself. Try rephrasing it into something like this. How could I start my own business? Where could I find the time? See the difference? You're asking questions now. You're proposing a problem to your mind and giving it space to find a solution. So that's just one thing to take away and have a go. Think about the way you approach the things that you feel are limiting you in your life, and maybe just try to rephrase it into more of a question rather than a statement. Understand that falling into a rut is pretty normal, so don't be too hard on yourself next time it happens. Just try to recognize it as quickly as possible and move into a state of action. The more you interrupt the pattern, the stronger the habit gets that you don't fall into the rut in the first place. Falling into ruts can become a habit. It can be something that happens again and again, and you feel it and it becomes quite damaging. So change your habit. Your habit has to become that you're a person of action, even if that action doesn't feel directly related to what is bothering you. But something, get yourself moving in some way, and then it will start directing it onto what really matters to you. And as always, take care of yourself.